Hi, welcome to Copenhagen. Technical problems trying to start this stream, which pretty much sums up today. I was getting ready to record some more videos, and they decided they were going to trim the trees outside, take branches off them, and put them through a shredding machine. So that put an end to the videos. I think they've finished now, but decided just to come on to a live. I can't remember the last time I did 2 lives, 2 days in a row. It's been a very long time. So I did manage to get some videos recorded. Hi Nancy, the ODS is getting better. I'm putting cream on it, thanks. How are you, Nancy? Yeah, I read your comment on the video. Nancy's talking about the latest video that I put up. When did I put that up? Last night? I think it was last night. And she commented on the what was it you said? Something like interesting quality of ODS. And I thought, ODS, what is ODS? The diamond painting that I reviewed was from One Day Saving. So that's what ODS was. I don't think I would have figured that, Nancy, until you got back to me and told me. I thought, oh, here we go, another abbreviation that I don't know. You're working on freedom. Cool. Well, I'm working on one. I called it Coffee Owl. I don't know if that's what they actually called it. This is from GemsFlow, the people who make the app that everybody uses to keep track of their diamond paintings. But I think very few people actually buy DAC. I know that one. Yeah, the GemsFlow app that a lot of people use, but I don't think many people buy diamond paintings from them. So I bought one again out of curiosity, like I do. I see companies that I've never tried, and I'll buy something so I can do an unboxing, and everybody gets to see what to expect from that company. That's the whole reason for me doing them. So I did an unboxing of this a long time ago. So how long do you think you've got left before you finish that one, Nancy? I've got quite a while to go on this. But I did manage to get videos done yesterday. It's been a while since I've had time or had the voice to do some videos. So I actually managed to do 4 yesterday. 3 days and it might kill me, yeah. The joys of diamond painting, especially when you're getting near the end and you think, right, okay, I just want to get this finished so I can go on to the next one. Oh, it's a gift for someone. And she hired me to do it. So you mean that you're doing one as a gift for someone who asked you to do it? Or is it for a gift for the someone who asked you to do it? I know some people do them on commission or as commission. A lot of people wouldn't have the patience to do a diamond painting. I could see people being interested in getting one, but not wanting to actually put the hard work in. But I don't think there's that many people that buy them. I see posts now and again of people who are thinking about going to a craft fair type thing and trying to sell completed diamond paintings. Well, not even a craft fair, an art fair, I suppose, where people have got artwork that's finished. The thing about that, getting like a commission where somebody wants something, I'd always be kind of worried that when it was finished, it wasn't what they were expecting, it wasn't as good as what they thought. Or it could be a bad kit where you have a lot of drills popping or something like that. It was out of stock. She wanted to give it to her husband. Ah, right, I see. Yeah. Reached out to a company and got it in a week. So you're doing it. Oh, that's nice. Cool. That's good. So I've got what I thought was a really interesting video coming out tomorrow. I've already scheduled them, however you pronounce it. So one came out. I can't even remember if it was this morning. I've been doing so much editing on 4 different videos. Um, I think I actually posted that one this morning. The one with the ODS, the one day saving one, the latest one that's up. I got that finished and posted it, and then I edited another 3, so they're already queued up. So one of them is coming out tomorrow. Hi Lisa, thanks for dropping in. Welcome to freezing cold Copenhagen. So yeah, I've got another video coming out tomorrow at 3 p.m. Copenhagen time, which is going to be, what's that, like 9 a.m. Eastern time. And if you're neither of them, it's 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time in the UK. And apart from that, I don't know any other time zones. So that's coming out tomorrow. That was a good one. I really enjoyed it. Every now and again, I buy something, I see things, and I think, no, I'm going to try this. And I did it with this one, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So, yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed doing that one. So that comes out tomorrow, and then tomorrow's the 14th. Another one comes out on the 16th, and another one comes out on the 18th. I'm using a pen because there's a reason I started doing this one. Somebody contacted me, somebody sent me an email, and they were working on a custom of one of their dogs, and she was getting worried about the gaps and the squares and her lines. She was worried the lines weren't straight enough. So she had been emailing me back and forward, and I was sort of helping her. And then I thought this would be easier to do as a video. And then I was going to just do a video and send it to her, like a clip, like little clips, and explain. And then I thought, wait a minute, I should do this as an actual YouTube video, because you get a lot of people like asking about squares and they're kind of worried about doing them. And I thought, right, okay, I'll do it as a video. So what I did is, as you probably know, Nancy, Tammy and I are working on Sail Away from Diamond Art Club, 119 centimeters wide. So we've been working on it, working an end each, working towards the center. And then we got to the point where we couldn't reach the middle. So we've taken that off the tables, and it's on the dining room table. So we can sit at the dining room table and work on the center. So we've got that sort of set up in the living room. And I was answering these emails, and then I thought, right, okay, the table is empty. So what I'll do is I'll go and find a square kit with resealable bags like this. So I don't need to kit up in the Tic Tac containers that we use. It's nice and easy, just work from bags. So I had a hunt through the stash, and I found one that had the resealable bags, and it happened to be one from GemsFlow. So what I did was I did a video where I started the diamond painting from the very first drill and showed how I did it with a pen, because she's using a pen. So I was showing how I do it. and just talking about it and talking about the gaps and showing like there's gaps. There's always gaps with squares. Doesn't matter who you buy from, there's always gaps. Some people may lead you to believe otherwise, but out of all the companies I've tried, I have not had any that have no gaps. If you switch the light pad off, you have no gaps. If you tilt your camera angle at a low angle to the side, you have no gaps. But if you're looking directly down like you are when you're diamond painting and you're working with squares, you're going to get gaps. So that was why I started this one. But I only did a small section. But what I'm doing just now is I'm going to work up to about halfway and then I'm going to do another YouTube video, a sort of continuation, so people get a better idea. Like maybe half the diamond painting will be done by then. And then I can show the gaps again and talk about them and do close-ups and all that sort of thing. And then eventually the picture will be finished. It'll be on the wall behind me and people can judge for themselves if they can see gaps. I mean, even this little bit that I've done, if I turn the light pad off, you can't see the gaps. I mean, I can't see the gaps and I'm sitting, I'm about a foot away. Like my eyes are about a foot away from the diamond painting. I can't see gaps. Turn it on, ta-da, gaps everywhere. But the point is, it doesn't matter. It's nobody is looking at a diamond painting that close. I mean, these squares are 2.5 millimeters wide, and the gaps are a tiny, tiny fraction of 2.5 millimeters. They're a fraction of a millimeter. They're tiny. People will look at round drill diamond paintings and never comment on the gaps. The gaps are massive. Nobody comments on it. So it's just this thing that people have got about it's got to be square and it's got to be no gaps and everyone's got to be perfect. It doesn't. So that is the purpose of doing this one. And to answer Lisa's question, it's a diamond painting that I bought from GemsFlow. Everybody uses the app, but I don't think many people buy diamond paintings from them. So out of curiosity, I bought one, and this is it. And that is what it is. In fact, I'll show you it on the phone. You can see it better. So I'll go into GemsFlow app to find my GemsFlow diamond painting. It's here somewhere. I've got too many diamond paintings. Scroll, 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 scroll. I know you're here somewhere. Yeah. I don't know if GemsFlow called it anything, but I called it Coffee Owl. So this is what it is. It's a totally stressed out owl with a cup of coffee and a car sitting on the steering wheel. Now, the first thing that I noticed was looking at this picture, maybe we should change my light. I don't know if I made a difference, but it did to me. The background in this is green, but the background in the actual diamond painting is black. I have a lot of 310. When you look at this under proper light, the only 310 is the centre of the owl's eyes and some bits and pieces on the cup, and it isn't that much that's in black. And the steering wheel. The background that I'm working on just now is black. It should be green. So straight away the colours are way off. But if you haven't seen the original, once this is finished, I think it'll look fine. Just darker than it should be. So you can see this part here is the steering wheel, and then we've got the owl's foot on the steering wheel, and then you can't see anything really here. On the actual picture, this part is a sort of checkerboard pattern of the trim on the back of the seat of the car. Can't really see it. But the main thing is, when this is finished, it's going to be, you'll see it's an owl with a coffee cup. I'm curious about how the steam's going to turn out. You know what it's like. I mean, trying to get detail like steam is going to be very, very hard. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I think the owl should look fine. I mean, the big eyes obviously won't be a problem. So people will still get it. It's an owl with a cup of coffee. Whether they realise it's in a car or not, I don't know. I need to get more done. So I'm thinking if I do halfway, so I am this indent here is the indent at the tail. So I'm maybe up to the bottom of the beak, maybe. So the whole coffee cup should be in it, and a little bit of the steam by the time I get halfway. Then I'm going to do another video talking about gaps and the difference, and the square drills and getting them straight. And I mean, I spoke about that a lot at the beginning and was talking about how it's important to get the edges straight. The edges are the things that people notice, and even then, if they're a little bit wobbly, people won't really notice it. It's only like you notice everything because you're doing it. People look at this and they'll just see an owl with a coffee cup. They won't be looking at every single, like, oh, that drill's a little bit sticking out from that one, or they don't care. They're looking at the image. That's what it's all about, the picture. We are far too clinical because we're actually making them. And that's the point, trying to get that point across, because I constantly see posts from people saying they're scared to try squares. They're doing rounds that have got huge gaps, but they're scared to do squares that have got much, much smaller gaps. It does take longer to do squares because you've got to line them up, whereas rounds, it's a circle, so it doesn't matter how you place it. Squares, obviously, you've got to make sure they line up. Squares tend to have more little tabs and burrs and things on them, so you have to watch out for that. But basically, you're putting a square in a square. And if you take your time, there isn't a problem. Use the checkerboard technique like I'm doing just now. It makes it a lot easier, I think. Keeps things straight. If you can keep these drills inside the box, that's the main thing. Yeah, it is a fun one. I like to do sort of funny ones as well. I mean, I've got some that are more about the artwork, that are just really, really cool pictures. And then I've got some that are just funny. This one will be going up in the canteen at work for the people who come in all stressed out and go to the coffee machine. This is going to be above the coffee machine in the canteen. Hopefully they get the sense of humour. I'm sure they will. But I've got, I took the Little Tin Soldier from Diamond Art Club. I did that a while ago. I took that in, and that's hanging up in the canteen just now because it's all decorated for Christmas. So I took that because the Little Tin Soldier and the Princess are underneath some mistletoe, and there's snowflakes in the background, so it's quite Christmassy. So that's what they've got to look at just now. So it's going to go from a nice Christmassy romantic picture to a crazy owl with a cup of coffee. And I'm thinking I'll change the pictures out every month because I've done, can't remember. I think this is 50. I can't remember. Hang on. I'll check the app. That's what GemsFlow is really good for. You can see how many you've done, how many you've not done, how many you're waiting on, all that sort of stuff. So I've completed 49 and I've gifted 2. So this is I'm doing sail away, so that's in progress. So you could say Yeah, 53 then. So this is my 53rd diamond painting. Not all of them will be getting taken in. Sail Away won't. Sail Away is one that as soon as that gets finished, I'm going to put it up on the wall in the living room, because it's a really, really cool picture and there's a meaning behind it. It reminds us of how we met. So that isn't going to work. Hi, Helen. How are you doing? Are you freezing in Scotland? Just going to check the temperature here. The other day it was it was -5, but it said feels like -10. So just now it's -1.6. So it's warming up. But with the wind chill, it's probably about -5 or something. I put a new battery in the gadget. When I did that yesterday, I pressed the button, it went beep, and the display totally stopped. The battery ran out. The batteries, it runs on 3 batteries. So I can monitor the outside temperature. But it's nice and warm in here. So yeah, I've now got to the point I have quite a few diamond paintings that I really want to do. Most of them seem to be Diamond Art Club, and I've got 3 on the way. The no buy crashed spectacularly on Black Friday, thanks to Diamond Art Club. The weather's not been good. What's it been like? It's not been that bad here. It's just typical winter time. It's dull and grey most times. Pretty cold. Very cold just now. But it's not miserable. It's not like rain and wet and all that stuff. It's just cold. Had a tiny, tiny amount of snow, just snowflakes, but nothing that lay for any length of time. Seems to be going that way. When I first moved to Copenhagen, we always got snow in the winter that lay. It was reasonably deep. Could go out and have snowball fights and build snowmen and all that stuff. But last year, I can't really remember having any decent snow. It did snow, but it didn't really lie for any length of time. That was a preview of the next video, by the way. Comes out tomorrow. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for dropping in. Welcome to Copenhagen. Where are you in the world? Are you in America? Most people seem to be in America somewhere. And that's the problem that I have. A lot of people that watch the videos are in the States. Oh, you're in the UK, cool. So it's only 3 o'clock for you. It'll still be dark though. Oh, Wales. Okay, the only place in Wales that I've been is Cardiff, and it wasn't for the rugby. I drove from Pennycook, just south of Edinburgh, down to Cardiff to show someone how to pick up a baby snake. So there's a story. She had bought a snake and she was scared of it. So I ended up driving from Pennycook to Cardiff, showed her how to pick up the snake and spoke about the setup and how to fix it and a little bit about the behaviour of the snakes and that sort of thing. So by the time I left, I had a full stomach because I said to her, if you make me Sunday dinner, I'll come down and show you how to pick up the snake. And that's what she did. So I had a Sunday roast, drove all the way down, had Sunday roast, spent a bit of time, explained a lot of things. And when I left, she was totally changed. She wasn't scared of it at all, which was the whole point. So, and then I just got back in the car and drove all the way back. So a lot of driving that day. But that's the only time that I've been in Wales. Are you Welsh? Do you speak Welsh? I think Danish is hard, but I think Welsh is probably worse. So how long have you been diamond painting, Catherine, since you're a new name to me? What diamond painting are you working on? I'm working on one from GemsFlow. No, I don't speak it. I started diamond painting just after lockdown. Couldn't see my phone, it's right beside me. I'm just going to show Helen what I'm working on. So into the GemsFlow app again. Scroll, 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 scroll. That's what I'm working on. Coffee owl. So it's a totally stressed out owl sitting on the steering wheel of a car with a cup of hot coffee. So at the moment, I'm just working on the tail area. There's the foot there, obviously. So the tail starts here. So just that sort of triangle part there with the tail, that's this area here. So got a lot to do. Disabled, so struggle a bit. Okay, is it like with your hands, like the coordination, or just having the strength to hold a pen, or is it? I take it, is it a pen that you use, the diamond painting pen? So what is it you're working on at the moment, Catherine? Which company did you get it from? Don't forget the button. I never mentioned that, but thanks. I'm more interested in just talking to people. That's the whole reason I do this anyway. When I do the videos, it's all I'm doing is trying to let people see what they can expect from different companies, the quality of things, or I'm testing something to see if it actually is any good for diamond painting, or what I think anyway. I mean, people are different, obviously. Some people only use pens. I normally use tweezers, but there's a reason I'm doing this with a pen because someone emailed me and was worried about a diamond painting that started. It was a custom picture of one of her dogs, and she was struggling with the gaps. The gaps were putting her off. Square drills, she could see gaps, and she was getting really stressed out, and the lines weren't straight, and she was asking for advice. So I answered back and forward things and gave her some advice, and then I decided to actually do it as a video. So actually, that's why I started this diamond painting. So I started in this corner, square drills with pen, and showed how I would work it. And she said it has really helped her. She's not as stressed as she was because she couldn't help seeing all these uneven gaps and thinking it was just going to be a mess at the end. So she's promised to send me a picture when it's finished. Um, I mean, I've looked at the pictures that she sent me, and I've gave her some advice, and she's feeling more confident. And again, that's the whole point. I mean, the whole reason I do this is to try and help people. If they're looking for advice on diamond painting, if they've got problems, or if they don't know which companies are good, which companies are bad, or they keep hearing that square drills are really hard. I mean, I know there are some people that say they would never do squares because they're so difficult. But the bottom line is you're putting a square in a square. That is the bottom line. It could be that some people, because square drills take longer because you've got to line them up, they take longer, and some people don't want a diamond painting to take weeks or months. So they'll do round, which is fine. I mean, everybody's got their own thing. But it's just that people getting put off trying squares is a bit off-putting for me. I do squares or rounds. I don't care if it's round or square. It's the picture. Like if I see a picture I like, I'll buy it. I don't look at it and think, "Oh, really like that picture," but square drills, I'm not going to buy it. Or the opposite, some people would never try rounds, never do rounds because they think squares are better. They're more detailed and they're closer together, they're tighter, gaps are smaller. Exactly, Helen. That's the whole point is it's a hobby. You should enjoy doing it. And not get caught up in that. If you go in a group and you keep seeing, or if you see somebody post and says, "I tried squares and I hate them. I'm never going to do them again," and then you start getting people commenting saying, "Yeah, I'll only do rounds. I'll only do rounds. I'll only do rounds." Then you start to think, if you're totally new, you think, "Okay, there must be something really bad about squares. I'm not even going to try them," and that's disappointing. I think they aren't that difficult. It's just you need to learn a few things, like don't use drills that have got little bits sticking out the sides because it starts to push things. And when you multiply that, if you keep doing it, they end up going all over the place and you can't get them to fit. Um, but it is basically you're putting a square in a square. And there are gaps. There are always gaps. Doesn't matter the company. I've tried 44 companies and the square drills always have gaps. Doesn't matter who it is. No matter what the adverts say, they all have gaps. Some are worse than others, but they still all have gaps. Got mine from Amazon. Ooh, 90 by 40. That's pretty big for a first. Was that your first one? Oh no, it won't be your first one. You said you started just after locked. I was thinking, whoa, that's a biggie. You use a pen. Do you use the standard pen? Brahma camera. Do you use just a pink pen like this? I'm just wondering, when you're saying you struggle, is it with the diamond painting? Like, is it causing pain for you, or just curious to what if it's something to do with the equipment? that's making it difficult. Like the pens are quite thin. People that have got problems with their hands can find it quite hard to hold them for any length of time without getting sort of strains and stuff. My mum used to have rheumatoid arthritis, and she couldn't hold a pen like this. As the arthritis got worse, the pens that she was using, and not for diamond painting, I'm going back a bit, and just for writing, like in the olden days when people used to actually write things. She found that the pens she needed thicker and thicker as her hands got worse. And she found that she had a really chubby fat pen, and she said that that really helped. So I'm just wondering if maybe it's the narrowness of the pen has got anything to do with it, or it could be something totally different. I'm doing a painting from Home Fun. I call it Fantasy Girl. It's a girl in a lot of colours with wings, a spear, a crown, an apple, and she has a beautiful costume on. So you call it Fantasy Girl. Is it one of these ones that doesn't have a name? A lot of the budget companies do that. They don't have names. It's just a number. So I mean, I can't remember if this had a name. This one from GemsFlow. I mean, the GemsFlow kit is a budget kit, definitely. The canvas is kind of rough. It's the typical budget feel, that rough sort of sandpapery feel on the back. But it does have poured glue, and that's a big thing. Poured glue. It saves a lot of hassle. When I started, most diamond paintings were double-sided adhesive, and you had to basically unroll it and then get a sharp craft knife and look for all the air bubbles and slice along them. So the glue went down. If you didn't do that, the drills sat on the glue and popped up. They didn't pop like off the canvas, but they popped up. So when you looked at it, the light would hit drills a certain way, and then suddenly you get this one drill that it just was different, and they stood out. And if you had like an air bubble, I mean, the air bubbles were always like rivers, they were strips. So you'd have this little strip of drills that were reflecting back differently from everything around it. So you could see all these little lines. Yeah, that's what I mean though. You call it Fantasy Girl, so it doesn't have a name like from the company. Like this one, I called it Coffee Owl. I don't think it had a name. I think it was just a picture. And you buy it, and it's just called X54329 or something. It doesn't mean anything. One that I quite liked that I got was a sort of small one. It was like a cartoon kids one, and it was called, what was it called now? Crazy Cow or Funny Cow or something. And it was actually a zebra. Sometimes things get lost in translation as well when they do have names in English for them. I think it was called Crazy Cow. Unless the cow's in China or stripy, but I doubt it. Oh, in fact, it'll be in the app. I think I kept the name. On my first big one, I use a metal and normal pen. Okay, I'll take a break. Got a metal. That's really frustrating. I mean, there's not much you can do about that. It's just going to be a matter of learning how long you can sit and do it before it starts to hurt, and then cut the time back a bit. I mean, how long can you diamond paint before you start to have pain? I'm going to find that. Oh, it's there. I renamed it. I called it Baby Zebra, but I don't know if I made a note of it. They called it Crazy Cow, I think. Yeah, I changed the name. That was a fun one if you like doing all one colour. But Again, I like to mix them up. I like to do little funny ones and doing that. I've got one of a little tiger cub, the same sort of style somewhere. I haven't done it yet. Um, that's the ones I have done. Hang on. That's another one. The same sort of style. Just little cute ones. Good ones for nurseries and that sort of thing. The company called it Butterfly Fairy. Okay. Are there any butterflies? Oh, she's got wings. Yeah, okay, so I can get that. The one that my wife and I are working on just now is Sail Away from Diamond Art Club. It's not going to focus. Focus. Do it. Anyway, it's quite big. It's 119 centimeters across and something like 54 centimeters up the side. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I think it was just lost in translation, Helen. Obviously, they come from China, and I don't know, somebody's looked up a black and white animal and it said cow, and they've said, okay, it's a cow. So I changed the name to Baby Zebra. I can sit in my chair for a while. I get into it and forget. Yeah, I was the same. I mean, I don't have any. Well, I've got back problems, but nothing that affects me doing diamond painting. But when I started diamond painting, I worked over the dining room table, and it was fine at the beginning. But like you, I would lose track of time, and I would be there for hours sitting doing this, like totally new hobby. Um, and then I started to find I was getting a sore back and I was getting a sore neck. And gradually, I was getting a sore back and a sore neck quicker. Like maybe the first time it would be I'd be doing it for 2 hours or something, and then it would start to. And I never noticed it until I went to like stand up or something, and I really felt it. So I thought, right, okay, I'll do it for less time. So I'd try maybe an hour and a half, and that was okay for a bit. And then that started to hurt, and then it got down to the point where I was doing just 15 minutes, and it was like, I can feel this, and it was really starting to bother my back and my neck. So I had seen people had been using drafting tables, which are you can tilt them, and I thought, I wonder if that'll help because then I'm not leaning like bent over the dining room table because I was sitting on the dining room chair, which is not height adjustable. It doesn't swivel. It's just basically you're sat there and you don't move. So I decided to get like a sort of office chair that goes up and a table going up and down. Yeah, that'll definitely help because you can just changing the height can make a difference. Um, so I bought a drafting table and a office chair that goes up and down and turns, and I've got the table at a I don't know. I think it's maybe the second notch up, but it's not like a huge angle. But I can't leave anything lying on it. Like if I put the pen on it, that's what happens. So I have to remember when I'm putting the pen down to put it that way. But the reason I've got these are table placemats, and they are over the top of release paper. And that is because if I just had release paper, that's not going to slide because it's big. But normally, if I've got stuff sitting on this, you can see it's starting to slide. Everything would all slide down to the bottom of the table. So I thought about it and I thought I need something over the top of this. And I saw these table placemats. I was walking past a place that sells kitchenware and they had some racks and had different placemats. And I saw these and I thought that might work. So I got some and I tried it. And now I can sit anything I want anywhere and it doesn't slide. Like, I don't know if the bags will slide. Not really. But things do slide. Sometimes, like, everything was starting to go. The other thing is that these help to keep the release paper flat. Nothing catches on the edges, but you need these so you can pick them up. So it just makes things a lot tidier. And it blocks out the light, so it's not as, I mean, this is a big light pad, so you've not got the whole thing lit up in your face. Normally, I would have this covered, but I just opened it up so people can see what I'm working on. But normally, all you would see is this section that I'm working on. I just work on a section at a time, and I shuffle the mats to fit. The mats are made of plastic; they're not made of material, because if you used any kind of material like felt-like stuff, you would get fibers coming off, and the fibers would get stuck in the glue, and then the glue wouldn't be as sticky. So I've got loads of them, loads, because I went and bought, I forget how many I bought, like say 10 maybe, and I tried it, and I thought this works. I can sit things and nothing's sliding. It covers the table. It keeps everything neat and tidy. So I went back and I bought the rest, and then I went back and they were in stock again, and I bought most of them. I use them. The table is covered in them. Tammy uses them. Her table's covered in them, and we've got a stack of spares as well. So we've got enough in the living room just now to cover 119 by 54 diamond painting. I've got enough to cover this, which is can't remember. GemsFlow again. This is a 50 by 65. So this is covered. There's still stuff over covering Tammy's table, and we've got some in the cupboard. Because we knew what would happen. We like the colour, sort of it matches the colour scheme in here. I know it's a kind of weird thing to say, but it does. So it looks neat and tidy when we're not doing anything. The diamond paintings are covered up and the tables are covered in mats. Just looks neat. And we knew that if we didn't buy them when we saw them, they would disappear and we wouldn't be able to get the same ones. And that's what's happened. I've passed the place quite a few times recently, and they have mats, but they don't have this type, and they don't have plastic ones. The ones they've got now are like sort of a felt type material. So they would just create fibers that would stick to the glue. So not good for diamond painting. That isn't what they're intended for, but these ones work really, really well. Randall Spangler, we're in the middle. It's kind of hard to explain exactly, but I'll try. So, where am I? We are about. I started on this side because Tammy didn't want all this brown tree thing because I was working that direction. She started this side so she could get into some colour quicker. She's done up past the tail of this little ship, and I think maybe if I use my fingers, I've done all of that. She's done all of that. I've done part of this. I'm working down onto the sails in it. Can I zoom in? Oh, I can. So you can see the ship. So I've started working on, I think I'm down to the second sail. Tammy's done past this. She's onto this green and purple bit. There's a lot of ABs in that. It's really cool. So it's just really, she's done all the fields at the bottom. I've done all the sky at the top. So I think we've got, try to think, 1, 2, 4, 5 or 6 sections left. This size. It's the size of the release paper. So I think about 5 of these left, and then that'll be done. But I had man flu and then Tammy caught that off me. It's just this cough thing that's been going around in Copenhagen. Everybody's been getting it. And I was coughing and coughing and coughing for really bad for 2 days solid, and I had sore ribs and I had a sore back, just constant cough. It's still there. You can probably hear it in my voice. It's a bit rough, but this is week 5, and it's still not quite away. Tammy has just got past the coughing stage nearly. She's not waking up. I don't think she woke up last night. The night before, she woke up twice and had like a coughing fit. The night before that, she woke up, I don't know, about 6 times. It's just really, really irritating. So she hasn't been in the mood to diamond paint, and we try and work on it together. So I didn't really want to be sitting there working on it and get a whole chunk done, and she doesn't get as much. So then when I thought about doing this, I thought, okay, when she's not working on that, I can work on this, and then that's fine. So that's what's happening. But I mean, she went back to work. She went back to work today. So that's her first day back. She's been off sick for, I'm not sure, 2, 3 weeks. Because obviously she doesn't want to go into work and then be coughing and then people at work catch it. But she found out that 3 people at work are already off with it. It's just spreading everywhere. I think it's because of the corona thing that we were all really good at wearing masks and washing our hands and distancing and all that stuff. And that's long gone in Copenhagen anyway, in Denmark. We haven't been wearing masks and distancing for a long time. So we had winter time and the bugs are going around and everybody's being caught. So our immune systems aren't as strong as they were, I don't think. We're just not used to the germs that we always had. I mean, before Corona, I never even thought, when I went in a supermarket and picked up a basket or took a trolley, I never even thought about who had their hands on that trolley or basket before me. Never entered my mind. And then Corona hit, and then suddenly you're thinking, well, I wonder if the person that touched this before me had Corona. And then suddenly you start thinking about everything, and then you think, I remember seeing something that said, can you remember the good old days when somebody would blow on a birthday cake, like the candles on a birthday cake, somebody would blow them out and then we would eat the cake? That was in the middle of Corona. And I thought, yeah, it's just how things changed. So suddenly we became uber sensitive to any germs. And now we can tell. I mean, I use the metro to go to work and the bus. So you're in there with a lot of people in the winter time. This is flu season. So I mean, it's nothing bad. I mean, it's not like I never had the flu, like the real flu. I never had like the aches and pains and that type of thing. I wasn't in bed. Like, if you get flu proper, you can't do anything. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to eat. You're sweating, your muscles hurt. I mean, I think I've only had what I would call the real flu twice in my life. Apart from that, it's been like bad colds and that sort of thing. But they're just calling this the coughing sickness. It's just something different. I don't know what it is. But it's not that anybody's getting really ill. It's just irritating. Coughing pretty much constantly for 2 days is not fun. And am I saying any other questions? So you take turns. Well, we don't really take turns because we've now got the big one on the dining room table. So Tammy can sit at one side of the table, I can sit at the other, and we can work like from the top and bottom. Instead of working from the sides, we're working towards the middle. So the plan is we're going to head to the middle until we get 2 sections, like 1 section each, and then we're going to do a time lapse, and people can see us working on it, like speeded up, and then we'll finish it, and I've got ideas to. I don't know if it'll work, but the idea that I'm thinking is we'll finish it, and then the camera will go up, and people can see the picture. That's the plan. I need to figure out how to actually do it, so we'll see. It might or might not work. I had a bad cold. Oh, a nosebleed. Sorry to hear that, Helen. Yeah, sad. Yeah, we haven't had nosebleeds, but it's just this cough, cough, cough thing. And it was for me anyway. It got to that point where you breathe in and it just tickles at the very back of your throat every time you breathe in, and you can't help but cough. I can still feel it now, but it's not as bad. How old was Gizmo? I've noticed with this kit, there's one there. Every now and again, I get drills that are way bigger than they should be. So I always put them in the trash tray. Don't use drills that don't fit inside the box. It's definitely better to put smaller drills in than put bigger drills in. Because again, if anything goes outside that box, it starts to push drills next to it. And if you do it in other places, everything else starts to push against everything. Then you start getting problems trying to line things up, and you start to get things. He was 4, I had him for 4 years as well. All right, okay. So 8. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean you had him the full 4 years? I need wax. I need wax. Where'd I put it? It's here somewhere. No, 2018. Okay. Yeah, found it. I do that. I put wax down and I forget where I put it, especially when I'm moving stuff, because sometimes I move stuff off here when I'm doing the YouTube videos. This is the table I use, so I'll move everything out the way. The diamond paintings stay here. Um, all I do is cover everything up with these. So you in the videos you always see these on covering the table, and there's always a diamond painting underneath them. But I have to move all my stuff out the way to do the videos, and then I end up I can't find the wax, so I've got this piece, this piece, this piece. So I've got 3 pieces of wax now that I've started. Do you use glue after you're done? Okay. I don't. You mean like sealant? Do I seal them? I don't seal them. I did. I've sealed 2 out of 50 something, and that was kind of early on because I was kept reading about people sealing them, and I thought, okay, you have to seal them to stop dust getting in them, and which makes sense. Um, so the first one I sealed was the first one that I got that had poured glue, because I was used to double-sided adhesive, and double-sided adhesive is a lot stickier than the poured glue. So you can't put a drill down and then just slide it over to where you want it. If you've got double-sided excuse me, if you've got double-sided adhesive and you put a drill down wrong in the wrong place and you want to move it, you have to get tweezers, pick it off, and then put it where you want it. It's too strong to slide, whereas the poured glue, if you put one, say, 2 squares across from where it should be, you can just slide it to where it should go. And that's one of the reasons that people like it, because it's easy to slide drills into place to get them exactly where you want them, and it doesn't matter if you miss. So, at the beginning, all of the kits I had were eh, double-sided adhesive, and then I got my first poured glue, and when I tried it, I felt the drills were just sliding everywhere, and I thought, "They're never gonna stick to this, like, over time." So I thought, "I'm gonna have to seal this." So I did. Um, but after getting more experience with it, I realised that that is what poured glue is like, and the drills won't fall off. So I sealed that one for no reason, I think. After saying that, it gave me experience with sealing. I used, what's it called? Tombow. Oh, forgotten the tin. Let me check my Quality Street tin. It's been that long since I even looked at this stuff that I forgot the name, but it's Tombow, Tombow. This is out of focus. Aqua glue. So you maybe get people talking about aqua glue, and I used this. And what I did was I spread it. The tip has got like a little plastic brushy thing that you squeeze it and then you can scrub it. And what I did was I put a thin coat. It wasn't a big diamond painting, but I put a thin coat across it and then left it, I think, a day or something, maybe 2, I can't remember. And I did it again. So I did a double coat, but it was quite thin. Because I had seen some that people had sealed, and some it looked as if they had like put really thick varnish, and the varnish filled the gaps between the drills and raised up. So when the light hit it, it was like a mirror. It was just like a sheet of glass or ice. It was the sparkle for the drills had totally disappeared, and I didn't want that. So I put on a very thin layer, and then I did it again just to basically make sure that it had went into all the gaps to hold the drills. And thinking about it, I think that was a round drill, I think. But it looks fine. I mean, that's been probably 2 years ago I did that. Um, I don't think I have it close at hand because it's in a frame. But again, that was back when, like talking about framing as well, that was back when everything I read said, once you've finished it, frame it behind glass or perspex to stop dust, which totally makes sense. And I thought, yep, going to do that. So I went and I got a frame and I framed it. And I did that with all my diamond paintings at the beginning. And some of them, the frames cost more than the diamond painting, especially the big one I've got. It's 80 by 100. I took that to a framing shop, framing expert guy in Copenhagen, and that was really expensive. So then I started to think about it and thought, this is costing me a fortune on frames. And then I heard about these magnetic frames, and which I just happened to have one. Hang on. The magnetic frames are really designed for posters. They're not designed to hold diamond paintings, but they will hold smaller ones. So basically, all it is strip of wood, and or 2 strips of wood, if you take them apart, there's magnets. You can maybe see these white circles. That's magnets. And then on the other one, same thing, magnets. They click together. So what you do is you put these against the very top of your diamond painting and trim the canvas above. So what I do is, don't want to touch the glue. What I do is I put the canvas down, I put the strip down, and I bring it down until it's going along the top. So the drills would be against this edge. Hold it tight, and then get a pen, because you're going to have canvas sticking up past here. Get a pen, draw a line, and then cut it just this side of the line, like just not on the line, because I always found I kept getting a little bit sort of sticking up. So I cut it just the bottom side of the line, cut it across. So when you clip them together, you don't have anything sticking up. I trim the sides off completely, get scissors, trim the sides as tight as I can against the drills, all the way up the sides, take the sides off completely. The bottom I do the same thing, put it on the border, and then draw a line, and then cut it, and then you get, like, the top is 2 pieces with a string, so that's what you hang it from. The bottom is 2 pieces, that's it. So it's got magnets in here as well, and it's the magnets that hold it. So the good thing about these, if you use or if you do diamond paintings that are the same sort of size, or width at least, all you need to do is take these off, take your diamond painting out, put your other diamond painting in, clip it, and you can hang it. The only thing is, using this, you don't have any glass or perspex. So I did a small one. I don't know where it is now, but I did a small one and I hung it up for 6 months, and I looked at it and I couldn't see dust. I'm not saying there wasn't any, but when the light hit the diamond painting, I could still see it sparkling. It just looked as good as it always did. So then I thought, right, okay, this works. And I really hate it when I've got a lot in frames with glass. I hate it when I hang them and then I'm sitting in a room and the sun is shining through a window, and I look at the picture and I can see the window instead of seeing the picture. Or at night time, you can see the the gym. At night time, you can see if you've got a table lamp on and you look at the picture, you can see the table lamp reflecting in the glass. That drives me nuts. I did not spend hours and hours on that diamond painting just to look at reflections. Or if you're trying to take a picture, you finish your diamond painting, you frame it, and then you think, that looks really nice, I'm going to take a picture. And when you take a picture, you see a picture of you taking a picture, because it's like a mirror. So you can see you standing with your phone taking a picture. And then you start having to duck down and take it for weird angles, and so nobody sees your phone, nobody sees you. I hate that. So now I don't put anything behind glass, and I've got quite a few diamond paintings that have been hanging up for months, and some maybe even over a year. The ones in the background that you see when I do the videos, the one with the hoverfly, the custom that I did, that's been hanging up there for a long time. Still looks fine. The only thing is, I put that one up and I was kind of worried about the weight, because these frames are only designed really to hold posters, like paper. They're not designed to hold thousands of little plastic drills and a canvas. So I was kind of worried when I did that one. I thought, this is pretty heavy. Will these magnets hold it? And they did. So that was fine. And it hung there for 3 months or something. And then one day we were in the living room and we just heard whoosh, came in, the diamond painting had fallen, and it was sort of half hanging off the top of the unit where I've got my pens and stuff. If you watch the videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was sort of half hanging off that. Now, thinking about it, I've skipped a bit because when I was doing it, I thought these magnets aren't going to hold this weight. So what I did was I used Gorilla Glue and I glued along the top, thinking Gorilla Glue will soak through the felt stuff. Open this up again. I thought the Gorilla Glue would soak through this onto the wood and it would be on the canvas, so it would like fuse it. And it looked like that's what had happened. But when it fell and I looked at what had happened, the tape, this tape had come off part of the frame. So it actually hadn't been going through all the way. It was just the glue from this felt with Gorilla Glue, which was stuck to the canvas, and the weight eventually pulled this off, and that's why it fell. So what I did was I went away and got a staple gun, lined it all back up again, put the canvas down, and stapled it. So I had, that's the bottom. I had the top, the piece with the string that hangs up, that goes at the back. So I had the canvas along this, lined it up. Get this right, yeah, I keep going the wrong way. I got the canvas lined up with this. Tammy helped me, kept everything straight. Got a staple gun, stapled one end, pulled it tight, stapled the other end, and then stapled, and I can't remember how many. It's quite wide, so a few staples. And so now the canvas is actually stapled onto the wood, so it's not going to fall. Downside to that is we can't just swap canvases. But if you're doing small ones, it works fine. One that I put up the other day, I'll go and get it. This is a new one that's appeared in the background. But don't knock the camera. Right, I'm going to cover this glue because I know I'm eventually going to drop some. So this one has been hanging not for too long. But you can see it's nice and sparkly. This is purely magnets that are holding this up, nothing else. It's not glued, it's not stapled, it's just magnets. So you can see I've trimmed the sides off so you don't see the white sides with the key on it, and the bottom. So the bottom piece adds a bit of weight, so it pulls it down and keeps it nice and straight. So this is a cheapie from Amazon. I got this one. Nice and sparkly, nothing wrong with that. You can't say it doesn't sparkle. It was on Amazon, Nancy. What it was called, I don't know. I think I searched. No, I didn't. Amazon, I don't really search anything. But if you try abstract diamond painting, you might find it. But I got it on Amazon.de, not Amazon.com. So it was the German Amazon I got it on, and I found that you don't get everything on both. I've had some things like this light pad. This was on Amazon.com, but it wasn't on Amazon.de. And when I tried to buy it from Amazon.com, it said, well, it might be if you search, it might be on .com as well. This one, I don't know. So yeah, this light pad, couldn't get it on Amazon.de. Went to Amazon.com, tried to order it, and it said not available for delivery to your country. So they weren't going to ship it to Denmark. So what I did was I contacted somebody I know in America, said to them, can you do me a favour and order this? I'll send the money and let me know how much the shipping is, and then send it to me. And that's what happened. So I got one for me and one for Tammy. They are A2 light pads, and they've got a dimmer switch, so they don't have that button, that really annoying button on the side that you keep hitting by accident. It's actually a little box that's on the shelf underneath the table, and you can finely adjust the dimmer. So it's not just like 3 settings or anything like that. So I'm just turning it, and I'll keep turning it. The camera will compensate for the brightness, I suppose. And that's what it's doing. You see how it looks as if it's going dark every now and again. It's actually the camera that's compensating for the light. It is very, very bright. I'd normally use it at that. It goes up to that. So, and it's big. I can do anything 70, like 70 wide, will fit on this without having to move anything. The other thing that used to irritate me was using a small light pad, like the A2, no, the A4, sorry, the A4. Um, and I would have to, because I work mostly on big diamond paintings, I would have to lift the diamond painting and try and push the light pad to where I wanted it. And then when I wanted to start, I had to lift the canvas and put my hand on it and try and find the button to start it. And then when I finished, put my hand on it and try and find the button to stop it. It got really irritating really quickly. So I saw this with the dimmer switch, totally separate thing, and I thought that's what I want. So that's what I did. Ordered two. Really good if you've got a table big enough, but they're just the right size for the drafting tables. So this is what I like about the lives. I never know what I'm going to be talking about. I didn't think I was going to be talking about magnetic frames, but that's the whole point. It's people can ask questions and we can talk about stuff and people can share experiences with different things as well. I don't know if was there any other question. Who do you store them? We've got two really big portfolio bags. Can't remember what size they are, but they're very big. And we've got a sofa bed type thing in this room that we don't use as a bed. It's just a sofa bed. And we slide the portfolio bags underneath. One has got completed diamond paintings in it. One has diamond paintings that have to be done. So if we swap pictures out, this is only for ones that haven't been framed. The framed ones are just basically up against the wall. We have a sheet of cardboard in between each frame so they don't scratch because they've got black borders on them. So we don't want them scratching. So we have cardboard sheets in between and they're just basically against the wall. Yeah, that switch is really annoying, but you can get on Etsy, people are making little covers that flip. I think they use 3D printers to make them. So you can actually just stick it on. I think it's got like a sort of tacky, gluey base, and you put it over the little button and it covers it, and then you can flick it up and touch the button, which is a good idea. I mean, it is really irritating when you accidentally hit that thing. And those ones tend to be, if you touch it, it switches it on, and then you touch it again, it gets brighter, gets brighter. You get 3 settings usually. But I found that some, when you hit them, like first put them on, I think most of them are the dullest when you first touch it, and then it goes up. So it's on, a bit brighter, off. Some though, when you touch it, it's bright, and then you touch it and it dims and it dims. So they're not all exactly the same. Yeah, A2 is expensive. They are expensive. But again, it depends. I mean, I spend nearly all my time diamond painting. If I'm not actually diamond painting, I'm doing videos or I'm doing. It's just this is a major hobby for me. So I don't play golf, so I didn't buy golf clubs. I don't go and watch football, so I don't pay season tickets. This is it for me. So I really, really wanted that light pad, and I could see there were a huge benefit for me. So I ordered. I looked at it and I thought, right, okay, I'll get two because Tammy's got her table as well. So it didn't seem very fair for me to get that, and then she's just using an A4 light pad and having all the problems. So I ordered two, and we use them all the time, especially me. I mean, I diamond paint a lot more. This is what I do. So for me, it's justifiable for me. But having the means to pay for it, that's everybody's. It's like, can you justify spending X amount on whatever, anything in life? Like some people, they can't afford it, so they don't buy it, and they get by with whatever they can afford. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the A4 light pads are better than no light pad. I mean, I wouldn't diamond paint without a light pad. I did it once because I bought a diamond painting that was already framed and it had a backing, so the light pad wouldn't shine through it because it had a hardboard. Um, it had a wooden frame and then a sheet of hardboard stapled to that, and then the canvas over the top of that. So I couldn't use the light pad, so I just had to use the overhead light, and it worked. But I definitely prefer the light pad. Makes it just so much easier to see things. But I mean, we use the light pad, but we've also got light above. We've got these lights that we can, let's see, we can adjust them and bend them and swing them, and we can change that's the white light. And then we've got a sort of yellow light that isn't as hard on the eyes, and that can be bent and moved pretty much anywhere. So we use a combination. Totally messed up my lighting now doing that. We use a combination because I think being in this room, I mean, it's dark in here. With just the light pad, it's too much, just shining in your face all the time. So we have these lights on dim, and then it sort of calms things down. It doesn't the brightness isn't as bad for your eyes. But again, it depends what space you've got as well. Some people don't have. I mean, we're lucky we've got the space for two drafting tables sitting facing each other. Um, and then we've got like the fold down sofa bed thing that we can put the diamond paintings under. You couldn't keep those portfolio cases, well, they're bags, they're not really cases. You couldn't keep them upright. The diamond paintings would want to crumple inside. I mean, there's nothing to hold them up, so they have to lay flat. So, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even have the space to put them somewhere. So we're lucky that we've got the space we've got. Anyway, that's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to head off. I've been on for nearly an hour and a half. A3, yeah. Yeah, it's a good bit bigger than an A4. But I think most people start with an A4. Again, A3 is more expensive than A4. It's just prioritizing things. Would you rather spend money on a light pad or another diamond painting or whatever? But yeah, I'm going to go because that's an hour and a half I've been on. I don't want my voice to go completely. But that was an interesting live. Thanks for dropping in and asking the questions and getting things moving. Sometimes it can be kind of quiet because people don't ask anything or they don't talk. And we've actually been talking about diamond painting pretty much all the time, which is unusual. Usually we wander off into other things. But yeah, so we've covered quite a few things. So I need to work on this and get it up to about halfway, and then I'll do another video. As I said, there's a new video coming out tomorrow, and tomorrow is the 14th of December. So a new video tomorrow, new video on the 16th, and new video on the 18th. So there's 3 videos already queued up, just waiting to go. So hopefully some people will be quite happy. I know somebody doesn't like shorts, but the YouTube shorts definitely serve a purpose for me. People notice them, and sometimes they get curious about what it is they're watching, and they come and look at the actual videos, and sometimes they even subscribe. So um, it maybe helps to draw some people in to diamond painting as a hobby. A lot of people don't, but some people do, and that's good. So, okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for dropping in, and I hope you have a good day or a good evening. Yeah, it's not. It was you I was talking about, Nancy. I just said some people. I was trying to be subtle about that. Nancy does not like shorts, but no, as I said, it's just it might catch some people's attention, and the more people that see it, the more chance that some are maybe going to get interested. I did, in fact, it was this one. I did a time lapse, just putting the release papers down, taking off the original clear sheet, putting release papers down, did it as a time lapse. The whole thing took, I forget, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that. And that's had over 1,800 views just for that. So out of those 1,800 people, maybe some of them clicked on the link to the YouTube channel and started to see what it was. Like, what is it? What is he doing with these white sheets? What is that? Maybe some of them are thinking, no, I might try that. And that's why I do it. It's just put it out there. Some people might get interested and might actually come back to the channel. So it does work. I know it does work. So that's why I do it, Nancy. I know it doesn't seem as if it makes any sense, because I wondered at the beginning when I started doing them, I was thinking, this just seems wrong doing like a maximum of 1 minute. I'm usually doing 40-minute videos normally. And then I do the lives, and well, we're up to an hour and a half. I think I've done some about 3 hours, something like that. It just depends on what time I've got, who comes in, what we get talking about, that type of thing. So I think today's been a very good one. I hope people enjoyed it. And if you watched the replay, I hope you found some bits and pieces that were of interest. The advantage of the replay is you can skip through. The disadvantage is you're not sure what you've skipped past. That's the problem. Yeah, I will do, Helen. I'll definitely tell her. She should be coming in from work any time. So I want to go and have a talk with her, see how her day went. And that's it. So thanks again, everybody, for dropping in. It's nice to see people again. And have a good night. And that's pretty much it. So in the meantime, take care, be safe, and wash your hands.